Hi, welcome to nightlenses.com chat, where we talk to people who are night lens wearers to give others who are sort of thinking about them a bit of an idea. Another interesting one today. You'll see from the blacked out form that we have here that we've got another anonymous one. We're calling her Jasmine. Thank you for joining us, who has a specialist role in the Met in the police in London, so blacked out for obvious reasons. And yeah, again, interesting story about how she got into night lenses, how they work operationally for her, and the advice she can give other sort of serving officers and people in emergency services. So Jasmine, thank you so much for agreeing to this. This is brilliant. So tell us, look, what was your story? I think you say it was glasses, contact lenses, laser eye surgery, and then night lenses.
Yes, hello Tom. Right, so I was told that I needed glasses when I was a teenager. So like all teenagers, I didn't want to wear glasses. So from about 16, I very quickly moved on to contact lenses. At about 18, I joined the job. I joined the Met. And then at 21, I decided to go and get laser eye surgery. I probably had about 12 to 13 years of good vision, where that slowly deteriorated, that I needed, or I realised I needed something else. Now, at this point, I was at a little bit of a crossroads. Where do I go? Do I go back to contact lenses? Do I go back to wearing glasses? And then I started looking for alternatives. And I came across night lenses. To be honest, I didn't know what night lenses were, so I was a little bit apprehensive when I first started. And the more I looked into it, I thought, this is actually quite a viable option for me. I like the idea. It was actually idiot-proof, if I'm honest. All I had to do was just stick some lenses into my eyes as I slept, and then by the morning, my vision will be corrected. I actually found it quite hard to get around. I thought, this can't be right. This must be a typo or an error. But I was pleasantly surprised. I tried it, and then by the morning, my vision was perfect. It was like I would be if I was wearing glasses or contact lenses, and I didn't have anything in my eyes, so that was great. It was nice to know that I didn't need to have either of those, and I still had perfect vision throughout the whole day.
Fantastic. And look, we'll talk more of your role in a minute, but you have shift work in your role. You know, it's notorious really for that. So was it something that, having had laser surgery where you've had nothing to do, now you've had to have lenses again, was there a concern about shift work? And over time, has there been a problem with shift work with night lenses, or do you just adapt and it works fine?
No, it's really easy. The principle is whenever you're going to go to sleep. So for example, if I'm coming off night duty, I'm going to go to sleep during the day, I just put in my contact lenses as I sleep. And then as soon as I wake up, I take them out, and then I've got corrected vision through the night. It's vice versa. Whatever shift I work, as long as I'm wearing it during my sleep, and I think I only have to wear it for a minimum of 4 hours to see the difference. So for me, that's enough. And then I get the whole day's worth of vision. So actually, I'll probably get a day and a half before I realise I need to go and put my night visions back in again. But I know that every day I can go in without being fearful that my contact lenses might drop out, or if I'm wearing for prolonged periods, especially sometimes when, as most police officers will know, you go in and you think you're going to be done, and then all of a sudden you get a last minute call, or you're doing an extended tour of duty, and before you know it, you've done 24 hours, your eyes are tired, you know, they're very dry, and you're constantly blinking. It's actually quite nice not to have to worry about any of those, or putting drops in. I don't have to worry about any of those. So it's actually a really good thing that I've actually come across inadvertently, if I'm honest.
That's great. So, and you know, we've had the other interview, if anyone out there watching, we've interviewed a guy who we call John, who's TSG unit in Belfast, you know, very sort of active operational role. He said the same thing, you know, the shift goes on. Quite often he'd find himself, he's sitting in the back of a van, he's in the middle of something that he can't get out of, and the problem is his lenses are getting itchy and dry and things like that. So for him, that was a big bonus. So let's talk about your operational side. I think you're saying there's two parts to you being in terms of the operational side of your earlier days and then into the specialist role. So I guess looking back, the question would be, looking at what you did, and operation, I think we talked about things like, you know, in a situation where CS gas might need to come out. So looking back, are there things that if you'd have had night lenses versus a day lens at the time, things would have been easier, better? I think, you know, look at your early role, you know, how would it be with day lenses versus night lenses, I guess?
For me, I would definitely recommend to anybody who's considering getting lenses, go for night lenses. And obviously back when we didn't see a spray, if you did have to deploy that or Parva nowadays, you don't have to worry about how it's going to what the after effects are going to be. Some people might be fine, but others, I know that for me, it affected me equally as much as the person that I was dealing with. So it's nice knowing that you don't have anything in your eyes that can be added or can be an extra irritant. So I would go and do night lenses given the choice, rather than wear a contact lens, because you know that is going to affect your contact lens afterwards.
I see. And again, with your hobbies and things, so you're into, I think you're saying CrossFit and things like that. Do you find in terms of that side of your life that there's any benefits?
Yes, so I like to do things like HIIT training or circuit training. So they're quite high impact. So for me, the best thing is knowing that I can do that without worrying, have I lost my contact lenses? Is that fallen out? Is it on the floor? So it's good for high impact stuff. The other thing I quite like is when I go swimming, I've got a little girl and we go swimming. So now I can dip my head without wondering, oh, I can't actually see what's happening or it's come out. So I don't have to worry about things like that. Or looking at the clock, everything is nice, it's clear, it's crisp. So it's exactly as I would expect it to be, but without having to wear contact lenses or glasses. So great. And I don't have to worry about them getting steamed up or anything running or anything happening to them. So for me, I've been wearing them for now about 7 years. So I have to say I won't go back. And if I'd probably known about this before I had my LASIK, I probably would have done night lenses first. And yeah. I think because most people think about LASIK, oh, you'll probably have it for 20 years, 30 years. You know, you won't need to touch it until you're in your 40s or your 50s. And then you realise, well, actually, I'm having to go back and look at alternatives less than 15 years later. So knowing now what I do know, I would go back. If I had this opportunity, I would go back and I would do night lenses first. Yeah,
that's a really interesting point, that, you know, it's good to talk to someone who's been through laser, and like you say, a lot of people think, great, laser is permanent, it's going to change me forever, but it doesn't. There are risks. There's a percentage of people who do end up with floaters and various things for the rest of life, and a lot of people are terrified by the concept of this thing. So it's really interesting you've been through both. So what you're saying there is that, you know, for people who are considering laser, this might be a good thing to get into these, get used to having a life free from glasses and contact lenses, see how it goes, and you could go into laser on, right? Is that
Laser's always an option that you can always go and do later on. It's never going to go anywhere. But I think the one thing I quite like is with this, whatever your prescription is, I've noticed my prescription hasn't changed over the years. So like sometimes you go back and the next year your optometrist might say to you, oh, you've dropped a little bit or it's getting slightly worse. But I've been consistent for the last 7 years. So I know that for me, the night lenses have kept my eye steady. But with my LASIK, obviously I was slowly, although I had it done, I was deteriorating. So I would say, if you don't like operations or you don't want to go and you'll think LASIK is a big commitment, I would try Ortho-K. I think it's a good alternative, and I wish I'd known about it earlier, if I'm honest.
And then another interesting happened. We had a chat just pre this interview, and we talked about this term myopia, and I think this is quite interesting. So I kind of announced to you that you have myopia. So for people who don't know what myopia is out there, what you call short sight, or what your optician told you short sight, is actually a medical condition called myopia. And one of the things I'm doing, particularly because we went through this with my son, is we're trying to educate people about myopia, direct link to eye disease and various things later on. And you've mentioned now about issues of glaucoma and things. So my question to you here is that, first up, you know, if you've got any colleagues out there who are looking at this, you've now learned from me about myopia, right? Do you think they need to learn that term myopia and understand it? The second thing is a general thing I said to you, you know, as a parent, if you have myopia, parents have myopia, chances are your child might have myopia. So is that something now for you to sort of consider for your child as well?
Yes, definitely. I'll be honest with you, because you go to the bigger branded places, And it's short-sighted or long-sighted. Nobody talks about it as myopia. I didn't know what myopia was, which I do now, but it's short-sighted and long-sighted. So it's made, it's almost like, oh, it's nothing too serious. You don't need to worry about it. It can be fixed with contact lenses, or it can be fixed with glasses. And then you realise, well, actually, if that gets worse, it can lead to eye disease. And I think that for me was something that I probably was quite naive, or didn't think about, or just didn't consider, if I'm honest. And now that made me more aware, and now I'm probably more cautious, and I'll be like, well, actually, I need to be on top of this rather than just be very relaxed. Oh, it's fine, something in the glasses, but it might be an underlying health issue that needs to be addressed. So I think I found with night lenses, it's been good because I've been going every year. I also get extra checkups and very detailed checkups. They're able to tell if there's anything changing or what's happening in the back of my eye. So it could be that is the makeup of my eye, or it could be that there's an underlying issue, which you wouldn't necessarily always get having been to places like Specsavers Boots or Being Express. I know that I didn't get those same checkups there that I have here. So it's nice to be able to draw comparisons and say, well, actually, no, this is consistent for me, or no, there is something here that I need to go and get further medical attention for.
Absolutely. And on that, I'm going to do a quick shout out there to James Patel, who's your optometrist at Vision Eye Care, and because he's a good example of fantastic independent optometrists who really spend the time around this. And this is what night lenses are all about. Is you know, I think we're a similar age, so we want basically people to understand you know, what their options are and understand what's happening to their eyes later on. So, look, and a final question to you, I guess. You know, again, relevant, coming back to your job, we have fellow officers sort of watching this and things. I think the question is two-part. One will be, you know, would you recommend it, obviously, but I think the second part will be, it'd be a direct question. We spoke to John from TSG, and the direct question was, is it safer for officers who basically are able to have these? So you've got to be under -6 with your myopia. Is it safer for them to have night lenses rather than day lenses in terms of their role? Do you have a view on that, and would you recommend to other officers?
I would say it is safer for officers to have night lenses, and I'll give you reasons and examples why I think it would work, having spent 13 years doing operational or frontline policing. And those will be, like, for example, confrontational situations. So if you're involved in a fight, you're not thinking about, if I get punched in the face, is my contact lens going to go flying out? Or if you're using your parva or deploying one of your other options, again, if you know that you're going to react to it, how badly are you going to be, how badly is that going to affect you? And things like if you're doing extended tour duties, if you're wearing day lenses, I know that they've come along a long way, but when you've done 18, 20 hours, you slowly start to feel the effects of wearing contact lenses. You notice your eyes are dry and you're thinking, I need to spray something or put some drops in it. I don't have to worry about that. And it's actually quite nice not having to stress about, I feel my eyes are drying or they're itchy or I just feel really, really tired. And all you do is just constantly keep blinking just to keep your eyes lubricated. So for those reasons, I would definitely say give night lenses a try. I find that Jamie, who's my independent optometrist, he was very good. It's a time-consuming thing just to get it right for you because it's very individual to every person. But when you've got them, I am glad that I did it because I've had 7 years of perfect vision, and like now I can go about my business, not have to worry about I need glasses. I can go and do anything. I can go from here to a sauna steam club. I don't need to worry about I've got to take my glasses off because I can't see, or my contact lenses are going to be affected. It doesn't impact me in that way. So my personal life, my social life, and my work life it's a good balance for me.
Absolutely brilliant. And as you know, I was telling you beforehand, the reason I'm here doing this, my teenage son's life is completely changed by them. You know, he's 17 now. He's surfing, right? He would normally, his myopia has been stabilized. He would normally be able to say well, he might have gone up to -6, -7. So there's no chance. Surfing wouldn't have been a thing for him. Wouldn't be able to see the waves, right? And now he's surfing, has normal lives, confidence. So they're a great thing. Listen, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate this. And look, if you need any more advice and information, or want to hear some other stories similar to the one you've heard today, head to nightlenses.com. Thank you.